This Premier League Matchday 21 picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code PLGP to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Sunday, the 12th of January. We are here to pick over what was a generally dog shit weekend of FA Cup action. Before, we're lucky enough to have a full midweek slate, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so we can put that immediately behind us. Joining me, so I don't know what he's eating something, is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Baz, what's happening?
I'm eating nuts. It's an almond, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
I had a handful of almonds, which I've been crunching away on whilst I was on mute. And I've got one left. I couldn't get them all down before I had to speak. So I've still got one left. So I'll stick myself on mute at some point later and finish that final one.
Okay, fair enough.
I've got no wine in hand. First time on a Sunday night for a long time that I don't have a glass of wine in hand. I've just done a week of no alcohol. So I've replaced it with a handful of nuts. There you go.
Yeah, is it no more booze until Super Bowl? Is that what you said?
That's the plan, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have 4 weeks off because I probably got a little bit excessive over the December period.
That's not like you, Barry.
Sometimes it's just nice to have a little bit of a reset, and prove to myself that I'm not entirely dependent on red wine. So yeah, a week down. That's fine. It's just good to know, It's good to test myself.
Very good. Sunday night I've got the NFL playoffs on. Eagles 7-0. Got no bet on though, mainly because I couldn't pick me nose this weekend. But we'll get to that in a bit. The big news today, Barry. There's tales to be told from Bamford Towers. Did you read my Twitter earlier on about the acquisition of a rabbit?
Yeah.
Yes, so
Dr. Doolittle there.
Half-time whistle goes in Newcastle v Bromley. I go to make a cup of tea. I put the kettle on, look out the window. It's a great big, black and brown, fluffy rabbit just sitting in the middle of the lawn having a bit of grass, having a little nibble to itself. It's like, I got a proper fright, actually. I don't know. It was like, it was a little mini Bigfoot. I'm into me cryptids, Baz. Thought there was a little mini Bigfoot coming to get me or something. So I shouted B. I said, B, come and have a look at this. So we were astonished. So obviously we went out the back. As soon as I touched the door handle, it bolted, legged it. And I just thought it would never see it again. But it only legged it into next door's garden, stood for 10 seconds, had a little look, and came back. So we got some green beans to try and lure it. And we didn't know what to do. The neighbours were out, like next door, Tash and G were out, Kev, this side was out. And they all thought it was ours. We're like, no, it's not ours. It's just a random big floppy bunny. So me being like a young Steve Irwin, Barry, I then wrangled the rabbit. Oh, we wrangled it. I wrangled it with some green beans and a pokey stick and a rabbit hutch, like a Wile E. Coyote trap. It was like one of them, like where that goes like that. It was like that. So we lured it in with the beans. I then trapped it and then carried it in the house really gently in the so we've got Betty's got guinea pigs. So when they go in the garden, they live in this hutch thing. So as we speak, it's been given the working title of Jeff Atkinson. So as we speak, Jeff Atkinson is sitting about 6 yards that way, having a lettuce leaf to himself. I'm quite happy. So I put a little Twitter post up to ask if anyone had found it. All I got was recipe suggestions, basically, from different people. 180 degrees for 90 minutes with a little bit of red wine. Rabbit stew from Lee, people like that. Smudger said I should have it with a few shallots, maybe a white turnip. So, yeah, I don't know what to do now, Baz, with this thing, because it's clearly a domesticated, big, floppy-eared bunny. Betty has absolutely smitten with it, obviously, and is determined to keep it. 30 seconds before we started recording, her and the IT department were stood in this room shouting at each other about the merits of keeping Wayne Atkinson or otherwise, Jeff Atkinson, sorry, or otherwise. So yeah, there you go. So I'll have to sort that out tomorrow. But since we had the story of the Polish cat, we haven't had any small animal drama. So yeah, Dan Pet Rescue, nice football link there. What do you think of all of that, Baz?
I wouldn't be getting a place in my house. Like, I'd have just left it.
You've still got that lizard.
Oh, I've still got the lizard. Like Bruno, I've just fed Bruno before I come through. Actually, he was at the glass looking for some bait, wasn't he? So I chucked him a cockroach, and he's happy now. He's all right.
Oh well. So between Bruno and Jeff Atkinson, Michael has put Jeff Atkinson's a cute name, but you've spelled Jeff wrong, Michael. It's Geoff. It's not Jeff. So just in the interest of accuracy, Michael, if you are going to refer to Jeff Atkinson, can you spell it correctly? Michael is in the chat along with Joe Dollar. Joe's brave, turning up after Arsenal got beat again today. Lee's here. Smudger, how you doing? Harry is laughing at Arsenal. James, welcome along. And Ian, lights out, was first in. Ian, how you doing? It was pretty much, Baz, a shit weekend of football. I didn't enjoy any of it. Well, right, and that's not true. The fact I didn't enjoy it was mainly rooted in the fact all my picks were shit. Because even if the football's a bit shit, but you're winning, that's fine. But everything was absolutely terrible. The Thursday night games we got wrong before we recorded, and the whole thing was just diluted. The TV had diluted all the games. So any half decent looking game had gone. I went to the pub to watch the Saturday afternoons, old school style Soccer Saturday. And there was just no excitement, like nothing. It used to be a big thing, and it was rubbish. It was the dregs, it was the leftovers. So that didn't help. And then all the picks were dog shit. I actually backed West Ham on Friday night, Barry, your pick. I backed them to qualify at 5-2. Nice bet, 70 odd minutes. I was golden, absolutely golden. And then the ref gives that corner. Like, the ball didn't go within 2 foot of an Aston Villa player on its way from that bloke's foot to going out for a goal kick. Corner comes in, 1-1. And then, because I was watching it on the iPlayer, I didn't even have time to react because I was about 90 seconds behind. Quickly checked on Sky Bet what was going on, and Sky Bet told me it was 2-1 Villa. So that just went tits up. After that, everything else went wrong. Every League One team I picked against the Championship team won. Every game I picked the other way around, the League One team won. Reading went to extra time against Burnley. That was the closest I got. So yeah, I didn't really enjoy it a bit. I even, Barry, if you remember, do you remember the greatest 1-7 shot in history? I was telling everyone who would listen in the pub yesterday, if you had a spare £7,000, get it on. We'll all go on holiday with the £8,000 that we've got this time tomorrow. Jesus. The team news came out for that game at 11 o'clock this morning. Tottenham moved from 1-7 to 1-66. And I messaged you, I was like, what, man? It's the greatest. They were 1.03, like minus 6,600. And then drew 0-0, which was really funny. So I got that beat. I was mildly entertained by Tottenham being rubbish. And I didn't know what to do with the Arsenal-Man United game. I just said to Bob, I don't know who I want to win this, with about 20 minutes left. At the very same time, you messaged me the same thing. I just decided that whoever lost, I would enjoy laughing at. Because I was already panicking about losing to Man United in the final. That's what was getting me back up, is why I didn't want them to win. But then Arsenal losing again in Arsenal, just not being very good. We said in the week, Baz, they're just not top-class team. And they're not. The list of teams they can't beat now goes on and on and on and on. If they don't score a set piece, they don't score. And Kai Havertz has got so many different ways of not scoring. It's actually quite impressive. Like, it must be a world record. He just finds a new way of, watch how I can not score this. Like, he just can't get the ball from his body into the goal. It's impossible. And he can do it, he can miss in all different ways. It's very, very impressive.
And they still put him on the penalty spot.
No, he can't score from the penalty spot. And he's a right twat as well, by the way, isn't he? little agitating gets, like dirty diving, pushing, pulling, niggling, moaning. Horrible. Tip list candidate, actually. We'll come on to that in a bit. But yeah, like all managers of teams who've just got out, I am much better off concentrating on the league, Barry. I didn't pick anything good and barely enjoyed any of it.
I think you had one win, didn't you? It was at Fulham win and both teams to score.
Yeah, go on. Hey, that was on Thursday night, though, wasn't it?
It was
I think that doesn't count for this show.
I'll give you that one. I mean, mine wasn't much better.
Orient Derby got postponed, so I'm claiming that as a win.
Yeah, they got a big tie as well. Man City in the next round for the winner of that one. Yeah, mine wasn't much better. I had the Wolves win plus money, 11-8. Other than that,
yeah, that was nice. But
yeah, I took Ipswich to get beat at 12-1. It's a 12-1 shot at the end of the day, and it turned out to be a very poor one. But yeah, struggled a little bit. West Ham was the other one for me, and Arsenal, of course, was the final one. But you're right, it wasn't a great weekend. It wasn't a classic FA Cup weekend because there wasn't many shocks at all. We normally see possibly a few more upsets, or at least a couple of teams in the past where you get them taking a Premier League team to a replay. We can't even see that anymore. They've spoilt that. They've taken that away from us. Plymouth was the only upset, really, beating Brentford. There was a few glimpses over the weekend of the sort of stuff I do enjoy about the FA Cup and these rounds. I mean, watching Tamworth host Spurs, I do enjoy seeing these Premier League superstars turning up to this little plastic pitch in the middle of...
Even before the game, when he was on his mate's shoulders, tagging the
exactly.
net. That was brilliant.
Sellotaping the nets on before kickoff. They had to borrow seats from their next door neighbour because they didn't have enough chairs for the Spurs bench. So they had to line up. They had to go and borrow seats from the local social club just so the physios, all the analysts and all of these lots. So did you say they had a big row of like 12 seats? Yeah. The club didn't have enough extra seats, so they had to go and borrow some. That was funny. And of course, Tamworth taking them to the wire, very nearly nicked it at the end.
There was nothing in it, Barry. There was nothing in it for large parts of that game.
It's frustrating because taking those replays away, that's the prime example. That fixture reversed at Spurs would have been worth probably £1 million to Bromley. The ticket money's cut in half. You're getting the TV money again. And that £1 million to a team like Tamworth could make a massive difference. And the longer that game goes on, you go to extra time. Some people will say Tamworth had that chance. Would they rather have just had that chance in extra time and possibly?
That's the alternative argument. Is that was Tamworth's best chance of winning?
Yeah, true. But I think there'd be a lot of people at that club would have probably took the trip to Spurs and a big wedge of cash. Yeah, there was other moments. Bromley taking the lead against Newcastle again, big moment.
Yeah.
For them in front of 52,000 St James's Park. Accrington and Stanley taking on Liverpool at Anfield, sort of local game, big one as well. And of course, plucky Man United going to Arsenal and daring to dream and taking them to penalties and winning. So, there was some moments. As I say, just a shame for Tamworth. But yeah, a lot of it was very, very dull.
Man United are all the way back, Barry. All the way back. The 2 draws.
We'll talk about that later.
They haven't won anything. They haven't beaten anyone, but they're absolutely all the way back. So, yeah. Yeah, not much going on. Wanted to update the tit list potentially, Barry, with two suggestions. Bear in mind, we've now got this rolling number 6 on the tit list is now the revolving door of people who feigned injury. So I did have Lucas Paquetá from the other night who got an arm across the chest and went down like he'd been shot in the face. But then Kai Havertz from today, who just did behave like a tit all day long, all afternoon. Everything he did made me want to kill him.
Were you not watching the Newcastle game, Malcolm?
I watched the first half until bleeding Jeff Atkinson turned up, and that was the end of it. There was about 6 minutes left by the time that fiasco out there had finished. Yeah, Jeff Atkinson put pay to that. Why? What did I miss?
Well, just the fact you seem to have watched all of the Man United game. I didn't. I only caught the extra time.
I was multi-screening, Baz. I had the Lappy on. I had Newcastle on the red button on the telly, and I had Arsenal Man U on the laptop.
Yeah, so I missed most of the Arsenal game because I was watching Newcastle.
And then obviously I watched injury time, extra time. Once Jeff was in his hutch and Newcastle game had finished. So, have you any interest in revolving Neto out of that spot and putting either Lucas Paquetá or Kai Havertz in it?
My preference would be Kai Havertz. Just
okay, good. I think that's more reasonable. Like, yeah, I did enjoy. I would have liked the officials to have allowed Harry Maguire to kick his head in, because Harry Maguire really, really seemed very keen on kicking his head in, and I think he would have absolutely mangled him. That would have been a great fight. Well, it wouldn't have been a fight, it would have been a beating, but I would have enjoyed that. I don't mind Harry Maguire. Yeah, and if he'd have smashed up Kai Havertz live on the telly, I would have liked that. Full Premier League slate coming. Tuesday, 4 games. Wednesday, 4 games. Thursday, 2 games. So we can get stuck into them. I'll tell you to keep aware of the NFL playoff content here on the Sports Gambling Podcast. NFL picks and props as games later on tonight and tomorrow, and then all the build-up going into next week. And while we're on the subject of playoffs, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is the key to win, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings. The classic tonight has got to be the Mike Evans anytime touch scorer for the Bucks, I reckon. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets. Instantly go to DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. Can never find this in time. Hang on. Oh my God. Right. Go to DraftKings, etc.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Just at the last minute, managed to turn the loop off that, Baz. I would be listening to that again. Thoroughly professional. Joe's mentioning that I still haven't got over Kai Havertz clearing out Dan Burn last year. That was about 4 years ago. And you're right. I haven't got over it. And I'm still waiting for Dan Burn to catch up with him and put one on him. Because Dan Burn is absolutely itching to do that. Interesting week of fixtures coming up. There's a couple of really good games. You've got a North London derby. And then you've got Forest Liverpool, the massive game that is on Tuesday night. So loads of good stuff to get to. But we will lead off with Tuesday night. Is this another Amazon week? Maybe not, because we've got staggered starts all over the place. 7:30.
I think it's all on TNT this week.
Oh, is it? Okay. 7:30, which is 2:30 Eastern time. The first game is Brentford taking on Manchester City. Brentford are 15-4, plus 375. The draw is 16-5, plus 320. And Manchester City are 11-17, minus 153. I'm happy to ignore Brentford's last 2 results. They lost against Plymouth in the Cup yesterday. It doesn't really mean a lot. And they won 5-0 at Southampton before that, which equally doesn't mean anything. But they were on the slide before that. We've been on to Brentford, I think. No win in 5. And 6 of their 8 wins have come against the bottom 6 teams. They've got a few injuries. And I want to take them on again. Like I say, I think we've got Brentford cracked lately. Manchester City shown just a few shoots of recovery. Even if I don't fully trust that they're back. Relatively easy game. So they beat Leicester 2-0. Maybe a little bit fortunate. They then beat West Ham 4-1, which is more like it. Again, poor Oppo at home. They won 8-0 on Saturday against Salford City. Doesn't mean anything. But that's 3 handicaps in a row that they have covered. I'm not quite brave enough to take them on that handicap yet. I do think Manchester City are going to win. So I've cheated a little bit. It's not going to be 1-0. This game is definitely not going to finish 1-0 to Manchester City. So Manchester City to win and to score more than 1 goal. is 3-4, -133. So it's a little same game parlay on Man City to win, with their team total being over 1.5, which effectively takes out the 1-0 City win. 3-4, -133 bars, nice and steady to start with.
Yeah, I mean, similar notes to me. I've struggled a lot with City games lately for obvious reasons, but I found a pick quite quickly on this one, to be honest. City, obviously, they won back-to-back league games, won again in the Cup. First time since October they've won back-to-back league games. Beaten West Ham and Leicester. Does that mean they're back to their best? Absolutely not. And in no way does my pick here sort of constitute me thinking they're back to their best and getting carried away with any of that short-term form. But it is actually just the form of Brentford that's got my attention. Just one win in the last 7 in all competitions. Doesn't count because it was against Southampton, obviously. They were beaten yesterday by Plymouth in the Cup as well. The home form's gone. Home form Brentford, that was the big thing. 3 defeats in a row now there, so that doesn't matter anymore. And for those reasons, I think City are a price you could almost back anyway. 13-20, I had them down with. I think you've got 11-17 there. I'm going to take them on the handicap, Mal, but it's the Asian handicap -1. So I've got that little insurance of money back if they win by 1. So City -1 on the Asian handicap. It's 11-10, plus 110. So win by 2 or more, and we'll cash a winner. If they win by 1, we'll get our money back. So yeah, the pick for me is Man City -1 on the Asian handicap, 11-10.
I mean, we've both done very similar things there, Baz. It's just we fancy City. To be honest, -153, 11-17 isn't the worst price in the world. And Joe's pointing out that there would never have been that price previously. So yeah, we've both done kind of a similar thing. City half-time, full-time is Michael's pick. Has hit in the last 2 Prem games, 6-4 plus 150 for City half-time, full-time. Second game on Tuesday, 7:30 kickoff is Chelsea taking on Bournemouth. Chelsea are 11-18, -163. The draw is Burlington-Bertie, 100-30 plus 333. Bournemouth are trading at 4-1, Barry.
Yes. Chelsea, no win in 4 in the league now, and against really average opposition as well. They failed to beat Palace, Ipswich, Everton, Fulham in the last 4 games. And Bournemouth, on the other hand, are unbeaten in 8 league games now. Won 5, drawn 3. So do you fancy Chelsea here at 8-13? I can't condone that sort of behaviour. Far too short for me. I know these sort of streaks will break at some point. Chelsea will win games very soon. Bournemouth won't keep on going unbeaten forever. But a team that aren't winning against a team who aren't losing, and I'm getting plus money for the team in better form not to lose. I took the same pick when Chelsea played Palace last week. Bournemouth are a better side than Palace, but Palace still got the draw. Bournemouth will be competitive here. They always are. They've only lost by more than a single goal once all season. So they're always in games, and that gives them a chance here. Bournemouth double chance. Bournemouth to win or draw is 5-4. And I'd just much rather be on that side of it than Chelsea at 8-13. So yeah, the pick for me is Bournemouth double chance at 5-4.
You're right. Palace double chance landed last time, Baz, at Chelsea at 11-8 plus 137. Chelsea on a slump. You're right. No one in 4. They've only won 4 of their 9 home games. You just can't back them. I wouldn't bet them outright. We just said about, you think Man City look attractive at -153. Chelsea don't look attractive at -163. So I don't want a team total. I don't want a handicap. The only problem I've got with Bournemouth at the minute is the injuries. Evan Nielsen's buggered. He's one of their most important players, one of their best players. And then his replacement, who's not as good, is he Turkish Ünal? Enes Ünal? He's buggered as well. They're both out relatively long term. But Bournemouth are on an 8-game unbeaten run, 5 wins and 3 draws. So they're really hard to beat. And against the top 9 teams, Bournemouth have lost twice. They've lost twice out of 8 against the top 9 teams here. I've got the same pick, Baz. The value has to be Bournemouth on the double chance at 5-4 plus 125. Lee wants Bournemouth shots and corners again, or Chelsea keeper saves, which isn't priced up. Michael's co-signed the double chance. Love all of that. Next up is 7:30. West Ham United take on Fulham. West Ham are 9-5 plus 180. The draw is 5-2 plus 250. Fulham 6-4 plus 150. I was a little bit split here, slightly torn, Baz. I'm interested in West Ham. We get the new manager bounce, and I actually like the manager. I think he's going to do a good job. We talked about it a little bit last week. They looked quite lively. They were very good in the first half against Villa on Friday night, and then got chinned by that refereeing decision. But it's the injury to Fulkrug's put me off. I factored in Fulkrug. We name-checked him last week, didn't we? We said he's going to make a difference because as much as he can be slightly limited, he gets amongst it, he scores goals, he contributed the other night, and then he done his hamstring first half, and that's him done. And with the missing Jared Bowen, I don't know what they can roll out up front. Obviously, Antonio's still in hospital or whatever. So it's going to be Danny Ings, unless they do something mad with Kudus or whatever. So my enthusiasm for West Ham was slightly tempered by those things. Fulham, in good form, 6 draws in 8. Back-to-back Desmonds they've had. And there's lots of pointers to the draw, where West Ham, against teams 7th to 11th, have played 6 games, Baz. 4 1-1 draws in there, including Fulham. That's exactly where Fulham sit, in that little range. So Fulham keep drawing. West Ham draw against those teams. The only possible outcome, Barry, is the draw. So the draw is 5-2 plus 250. Not only that, Baz, it's the 1-1 draw of the week.
It's Malcolm's 1-1 draw of the week. Both teams scored a goal. It's Malcolm's 1-1 draw
Shit.
of the week.
I was just going to say, I haven't pressed that button.
Scored a goal.
Oh, it goes on twice. You see, I just said, since you taught me to knock that loop off so it doesn't go around again, but the 1-1 draw goes round twice before it knocks itself off. So, anyway, that's all right. 13-2 plus 650, 1-1, Barry.
Yeah, no help to me, that one. Fulham, you mentioned they aren't losing any games, 9 in a row now, unbeaten, and 8 of those 9 in the league as well, so 8 games unbeaten in the league. Thing that stands out is, and Michael's pointed out in the chat, goals. Only 1 clean sheet in those last 9 games for Fulham, and both teams to scores hitting the last 9 of the last 10 games for Fulham as well. You got it with a pick in the cup last week. You took Fulham to win, but you took the both teams to score because they're always conceding. That came in. West Ham, on the other hand, they've won just 1 of 5 in the league. They've just lost to Villa in the cup. Further injuries, like you've mentioned, Fulkrug now injured. And their recent resurgence appears to be a little bit short-lived, I think. I did look at the other side of that Fulham stat of them conceding all the time. And West Ham themselves have only failed to score once in their last 10. So again, that feeds into West Ham being able to get on the score sheet here, at least. Only Liverpool shut West Ham out in that 10-game stretch. So I do like the both teams to score here. It's a short price at 4-7. So it's then, can we get an extra goal for the both teams to score in the over 2.5? That's hitting back-to-back games for West Ham. It's hitting 4 in a row for Fulham. It's going to be my pick here. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goals between West Ham and Fulham is 10-11. That's my pick.
That fits the 2-2, Baz. Everyone wants the 2-2. Well, Joe's got the 0-0, but Ian's got the 2-2. Michael co-signs. So, yeah, I'll take the 2-2 instead of the 1-1. Absolutely fine. We move along. Once I have told you about Underdog, Pick'em, one of the biggest menus for all sports. Underdog is always making it easier to win. With profit boosts and gimme Pick'ems, Underdog Playoff Best Ball is now live. The Gauntlet Tournament's got $2 million in prizes up for grabs for just a $25 entry. You can use specials and boosts on all flexed entries. Use our code PLGP. That will get you a special pick and a first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. 8 o'clock on Tuesday is the game of the week, 3 p.m. Eastern time, between Nottingham Forest and Liverpool. Nottingham Forest are 15-4 plus 375. The draw is 3-1, and Liverpool are 7-10 minus 142. This is you, Baz. What a fascinating game of football. What do you reckon?
I didn't enjoy this one at all in terms of a picking perspective. I can't get Forest right. And I don't know, it's because I just keep expecting that it'll unravel at some point. And it's not unraveling at the moment. They've extended their winning run to 7 games yesterday with a cup win over Luton. 6 in a row in the league. 5 clean sheets in a row now as well. 4 of those coming in the league. Still the only side to beat Liverpool in the league this season. Spurs obviously beat them in the cup. The only 2 sides to beat them all season in any competition. Liverpool, you'd have to say, have had a little bit of a wobble. They've failed to beat Man United, failed to beat Spurs in the last week. But I just think that sort of short-term form wasn't enough for me to sort of want to oppose Liverpool here. And I actually think the Liverpool price sort of gets to where they're possibly backable here. 8-11 Liverpool. Now, Forest deserve every credit for the recent run they're on, but they do already have defeats this season to Newcastle, Arsenal, Man City. So against decent sides, they have had some defeats. Only one of them at home, to be fair. But even the home form, they've won 5 of 9 at home. So it's not like it's become a fortress or anything like that. It's not one I like. It's not my favourite pick at all. I've struggled to get Forest right for a while, but I am just going to take Liverpool to win here at 8-11. I just think the price is just at the point where it's tempting. It's about as low as I would go for a pick. Liverpool are the better side. 8-11's okay. I'll take Liverpool to beat Forest.
I've kind of come down on the other side, Baz. Forest joined Arsenal on 40 points this week. Pretty impressive, really. And nothing's happening by accident there. I don't think there's anything looking about it. 6 wins in a row. The form against the top 8 does concern me. You pointed out those defeats. They've won 2, drawn 2, and lost 3 against the rest of the top 8 there. I think it's fair enough. It's not terrible form. They did win at Anfield. Both teams to scores come out. No, 4 in a row, if you're interested in that angle in. But they've had 4 clean sheets in a row as well. 4 wins with 4 clean sheets. They're fully healthy. They're going on all cylinders. Liverpool, just a little stumble. They were pretty average against Man United. They were a little bit worse than that against Tottenham. FA Cup game doesn't make any difference. And against the current top 5, Liverpool have only won 1 of the 4 games. Tons of goals, totals in the last 6 games. 6-4-9, 4-5-4. A minimum of 4 goals in Liverpool games. The 3-3 at Newcastle is quite a decent comp, actually. But I wanted to get Forest involved. I think it'll make it very, very difficult for Liverpool. It's another double chance, Baz. I'll take Forest on the double chance at 11-10 plus 110. Ian has agreed with that one. He wants the double chance as well. So is that that's Tuesday sorted out. Nibs messaged me the other day. I don't know what he'd been drinking. Nibs is our resident Forest fan, but he messaged me to say he was looking forward to having a pint with me before next year's Champions League final between Newcastle and Nottingham Forest. Getting slightly ahead of himself there, Nibs. There's quite a few things need to happen before it's Newcastle v Forest in Azerbaijan 2026. But yeah, I look forward to that, Nibs. We'll have a pint. Wednesday night, 7:30 kickoff, 2:30 Eastern time, is Everton versus Aston Villa. Everton are 11-5 plus 220. The draw is 11-5 plus 220. And Villa are 13-10 plus 130. Dave Moran's duffel coat, issue 42, £1.60. I saw him in the pub yesterday. He went to Everton on Thursday night to the Peterborough game. Said it was absolute dog shit. It was halfway through the second half. A woman just stood up and went to the people she was with, "Fuck this, I'm going home to watch the Traitors," and just left after about 62 minutes. So that was quality. And he did have wandered out to the new stadium as well. down at Bramley Dock, said it was really nice. It's just too far away. And that's one of the things we think about the Newcastle stadium. They don't want to build a really nice one if it's too far away, because that's a bit shit. But it's an exciting new dawn for Everton. Dyche is gone. An exciting new era of thrilling, exhilarating football marked by swashbuckling teams under an exciting, progressive new manager, Marouane Fellaini getting up at the back stick to nod one in. It's David Moyes is back. Fucking hell. Is that all they could think of, the board? I'd be absolutely furious. Just get in the sea, do anything different but appoint David Moyes again. Like, it's funny, and I hope they continue to be shit. But if I was an Everton fan, I'd absolutely have my head through a window at this point. There's no new manager bounce here. I'm not interested. You can't polish a turd at all. They can't score. They can't win. I think Calvert-Lewin's pagged again. It doesn't really matter. Like, people say, what's happening to him? He gets the ball drilled at him chest tight on the halfway line. What's he supposed to do with it? Like, absolutely ridiculous. Villa aren't very reliable, as it happens, but they've won 6 and drawn 3 against the bottom 9 teams. I think with average luck, Villa can win this. They're a good price. 13-10 plus 130. You have to take Villa.
Yeah, very much similar notes. David Moyes back at the wheel. Just a massive task for him to get any time of tune out of these lot. I made the mistake of taking West Ham to beat Villa at home with a new manager in the dugout. Yeah?
Wasn't a mistake.
Well, it wasn't a winner.
The referee made the mistake, Baz.
But new manager there, and we thought West Ham might do a bit more. It didn't happen. This has a similar feel to it, and so I won't be taking the new manager bounce either against Villa in this one. Everton games have gone under 2.5 goals in 6 straight games now, but Villa have just gone 7 straight to the over, so I didn't want nothing to do with the goals market either. Villa's form you mentioned, a little bit patchy, to say the least, and their away form is awful. 5 defeats in a row on the road for Villa, but they've played 4 of the current top 5 in that little run of away games. So I had a really tricky run of away games. This one is definitely a step down. Remains to be seen whether Everton can score a goal against anyone in this league. Just one in their last 5 games. 1 goal in 5 games. That's problematic for any team. That's going to cause you. You're not going to win many games if you can't score a goal. You're not going to win any. And it's the main reason why I'll be doing exactly the same as you, taking Villa here. 13-10 is a decent price. I'll take Villa to beat Everton at 13-10. Okay,
we move on, Baz, but you know what time it is, don't you? Battleships. If you remember last week, we both came into the game on the back of a hit and both went in the wrong direction. So I imagine there's going to be explosive fun here. Barry, you're up. What you got?
I'm going to go with I9.
I9 is a hit and a sink, Barry. You've hit my, I think the official term is cruiser, the one that's only too big. Yeah, that's dead.
Good.
Well done.
I've been planning that move all week, so I'm pleased that came off there. I'm delighted.
Well done, you.
I'll be celebrating with the kids after this one. Brilliant. Right, let's go. I2.
Oh, fuck off, Barry. Yeah, that's a hit.
That's a hit, isn't it? I'll go I3.
Yeah.
Now where do we go? I4.
Yeah.
Oh, got him. It's going to be a big 5 ship, this, isn't it? I'll go I5.
Correct. Hit.
Oh, where do we go to sink this bugger? I6.
Yeah, hit and sunk. That has swung the game massively in your favour.
I'll tell you what,
it's also dragged it out much longer than really this portion of the show should be. But what are you going to do? Come on, keep going.
B2.
Miss. It's an absolute disaster from my point of view, that. Right, I'm going to have to sink this. But no, I'm not. I'm going to leave that ablaze. That E8's on fire, isn't it? That can stay on fire. Horrific loss of life. Let's go H5.
That's a hit.
Yes, we're back in the game. I'll leave that on fire as well. New plan here. E2.
Yeah, you can get out of there with that one. Miss.
Is that a miss?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Right then. Oh, that progressed the game nicely, Baz. Very good. Well done, everybody. Right. Welcome back. Hope everyone, if that gives everyone time to go and have a wee, get a Ferrero Rocher, something like that. We're moving across to Wednesday night, 7:30. Oh, we've already done Wednesday. We crack on. Leicester taking on Crystal Palace. Leicester City are 27-10, plus 270. The draw 13-5, plus 260. Crystal Palace 19-20, minus 105. Baz.
Yeah, 5 league defeats in a row for Leicester now, and just 1 win in 12. Really struggling at the moment. Another team that didn't get any kind of new manager bounce out of Ruud van Nistelrooy. Palace at the moment aren't losing many. Just 1 defeat in the last 9 league games now. Too many draws for Palace. 5 in the last 9 have finished a draw. They've done enough recently to drag themselves away from the relegation, though. And a lot of that's been down to beating teams like this. 2 of their recent wins have come against Southampton and Ipswich, 2 of the bottom 3, and they take on the other team in the bottom 3 here. Leicester did manage a draw in the reverse fixture early in the season, but Palace was struggling at that stage, and they're looking a little bit better at the moment. It's another one, 3rd in a row for me, where the away favourite just looks to be a decent price on the money line, and so I'm just going to keep it very simple. Palace to beat Leicester at evens.
Same pick, Baz. I wish they were a little bit bigger. I don't feel good about taking Palace away from home at odds on. Like, it's something that's not quite certain about. But Leicester are absolutely cack, aren't they? Lost 5 in a row. They're rubbish. They've only scored twice in the last 5 league games. Palace 1 defeat in 9. And they've got some good results in there as well. They drew Villa, Newcastle and City, Bournemouth and Chelsea. And they've beaten Brighton, Ipswich, Southampton. Just an old-fashioned form line, Baz. It's the old-fashioned horse racing form line. Takes you to Crystal Palace. Wouldn't mind a few more points, but I think Palace will win 19-20, minus 105. Eze goal or assist for Michael. BT to yes, and over 2.5 for Joe. Next up is a game I will be at. 7:30 kickoff between Newcastle United and Wolverhampton Wanderers. Newcastle are 9-25, minus 277. The draw is 15-4, plus 375. Wolves are 7-1. Newcastle are in one of the best runs of form I think I've ever seen. 5 league wins in a row. But consecutive away wins at Man United, Tottenham, and then Arsenal in the Cup. I mean, we used to go an entire generation without winning at Man United or Arsenal. That was 2010. And we occasionally would beat Tottenham, but we equally would get humped 5-0 in equal amounts. To beat all 3 in a season is unthinkable. To beat all 3 in a week is preposterous. Like, scoring tons of goals. The main men were well rested. Eddie Howe did his usual thing of using the back end of cup games as a little training session today for Anthony Gordon, Bruno, got a few minutes, people like that. Wolves did look a little bit better in Pereira's first couple of games, and they weren't terrible against Nottingham Forest. They played quite well in the first half, just didn't get a goal at the right time. But Newcastle are full of goals. They're a nice price to score in both halves. Newcastle have got home games this week against Wolves and then Bournemouth. They've won, 5 league games in a row. They're in great form. Massive chance to pick up 6 points. I think they'll be fully focused, and I think they'll tear into them. Newcastle to score in both halves is 5-6, minus 120.
Yeah, I mean, 8 wins in a row for Newcastle in all competitions as well. Scoring for fun, defensively solid. Getting close to full strength now. I mean, when I wrote that, they were Shaw's served as ban. He'll be back. Botman's now back fit. So there's a decision to make there for how this week as to who his 2 starters will be. None of the outfield regular starters played more than half a game today, so should be fresh enough coming into this. I did see tonight Harvey Barnes and Joe Willock have picked up injuries, but neither of them would have started this game anyway. So it doesn't weaken the starting 11 necessarily. Really difficult to make a case for anything but a Newcastle win in the current form. Wolves have done okay recently, but the honeymoon period for Pereira did come to an abrupt end with that 3-0 defeat against Forest last week. 9 of the 10 games for Wolves, last 10 games for Wolves went over 2.5 goals. Newcastle games going over in 8 of the last 10 as well. You wouldn't want to bet against there being a few goals here, but 4-9 for over 2.5 makes that unbackable. This run of 8 Newcastle wins in all competitions, we saw them cover the handicap 7 of those 8 games. Only Spurs kept it to a 1-goal margin. Wolves, we know, are leaky at the back. You have to back Newcastle, and at the prices, it's got to be on the handicap. Newcastle -1.5 at evens.
That fits in. Joe's gone with the correct score here. Newcastle 6, Wolves 2. So nice, Joe. Nice and brave. Next up is 8 o'clock on a Wednesday. It's a North London derby. Another big game for Arsenal and Tottenham. Arsenal 8-21. What price is that? No idea. The draw is 21-4 plus 425, and Tottenham are 6-1. I'll just get that. What the hell price is that? Arsenal 1.38. I want to get the money line price for our Americans. -263 is the answer for Arsenal. This is you, Baz. Crack on.
It is, yeah. Well, with today's result, that's now 3 games in a row for Arsenal where they failed to win. Once again, plenty of chances created, not enough taken, and you can feel the pressure starting to build a little bit. Just certainly around social media, where there's more and more getting a little bit restless with Arteta. A lot of it around the fact they failed to bring a striker in, which is looking more and more criminal. When they spent money in the summer on the likes of Mourinho, and who was the other one? They signed another midfielder, didn't they? Anyway, money that they didn't necessarily need on players that aren't getting in the team, and not bringing a striker in, so they continue to have to play Havertz up front, and that's not working out well for them. I mean, it could be, I think, a really pivotal few weeks for Arsenal, because they've got Spurs, Villa, and Man City all to come to the Emirates in the next few weeks. So I'd talked last week about how not many teams are beating them at the Emirates. Newcastle went there and done it. Man United didn't win today, but they did get a draw. Those 3 coming in, potentially going to cause them problems. Spurs got there in the end today. You still don't know what to make of Spurs from one week to the next. Good through the week. Lackluster again today. Got the job done once they had the likes of Son, Solanke, Kulusevski on the pitch. How Werner still gets a game, I will never know. He's the only player in the league who can be one-on-one with the keeper, and he probably has an XG that I reckon they calculate the XG on that chance at about 0.01 when he's through one-on-one, because you just know he's never going to score. He never scores in those situations. He had one again today. Absolutely hopeless, him. Anyway, hard to know what to do with Spurs. Good week in the Cups for them, but still just 1 point from 4 games in the league recently. The clincher here, though, is the prices. It's 6-1 for Spurs. Spurs side who have just beaten Liverpool against an Arsenal side who are in a little bit of a rut at the moment. And it's one of them where it could start to get in Arsenal's heads. They start to doubt themselves. Now they've lost that momentum. 6-1 looks too big for Spurs. 6-1 as an underdog, I think it's tempting. That said, Arsenal have still only lost once at home all season. So the double chance has got to be the way again. Spurs on the draw here is 2-1. It's a nice price. We know Spurs are unpredictable, but they're capable of winning a game like this. They're capable of going out and putting in a stupid performance and going and getting something here. I mean, we saw them lose 6-3 to Liverpool just a few weeks ago, and then fast forward 2 weeks, they beat them 1-0. That's how silly Spurs are. Spurs double chance at 2-1 will be my pick. Spurs to win or draw against Arsenal.
I need to get back on the train, Baz, of back in Tottenham when they're a big price and fading them when they're a short price, because I was right. And then I got away from it. And it happened again today. They were 66-1 on. True 0-0. I mean, you'd just be absolutely rich. I maintain that Arsenal aren't quite top class for a lot of the reasons you've pointed out there. And it does seem to be niggling them a little bit about it. They've got a good run of unbeaten form in the league, but they haven't beaten Fulham, Everton, Brighton. The cup defeat to Newcastle demonstrates that. And the huge red flag for me, Barry, is the form against top half teams. Played 10, They've won 2, Barry, in the league. 1-2, drawn 6, lost 2. Now, before you point it out, I know Tottenham aren't a top half team, before you say that. But they kind of are in name. But I'm happy to lump them in with Fulham, Brighton, Bournemouth, the other teams that Arsenal can't beat. Like Tottenham could happily go on that list with those little middle globber teams. Spurs, who knows? 1 league win in 8. It was against Southampton. Both of them were good against Liverpool in the League Cup. And it's the most Spursy thing to fail to win at 1-66 today. And you have to take the outside out. I'm going to stick with my system, Baz. If I keep backing them at stupid prices and fading them at stupid prices, I'm going to come out well on top by the end of the season. Tottenham at 6-1. And I think there's a bit of a groundswell of support here in the chat as well. Michael likes it. And Lee wants, I like this angle in, Declan Rice to assist Gabriel at any time is 20-1 because Tamworth did have them worried to death with the corners and throw-ins and free kicks today. And we know if Arsenal are going to score, that's the route it's going to be, the set piece. Next up is, we've got 2 games on Thursday here. 7:30 kickoff between Ipswich Town and Brighton and Hove Albion. Ipswich at 29-10, plus 290. The draw is 27-10, plus 270. And Brighton are 11-13, minus 117. I'm drawn to Ipswich again, Barry. I've been drawn to Ipswich like a moth to a flame. 4 points in the last 2 games, 2 wins in the last 5. They were unlucky not to win at Fulham last time out, if you remember. Fulham scored a very late penalty in that one. Brighton are bang average, Baz. 6 draws and 2 defeats in the last 8. But they haven't beaten a bottom 4 team yet either, by the way. And I think the longer the season goes on, the better Ipswich look. Ipswich look like there's some progression there. Do you know what I mean? Where Southampton and Leicester is kind of doing what the other teams did last year and never really get going. Ipswich still, to me, and this is like eye test really, I think they can put a run together and they can start with winning games like this. They'll absolute proper handful. And if you've got someone who can kick it in the goal, you give yourself a chance. You just mentioned Everton can't. Ipswich can. And like I say, Brighton are there for the taking a lot of the time. I'll take Ipswich 29-10, plus 290, Pat.
Bold. Another bold pick. Yeah, I mean, a good couple of weeks for Ipswich. They progressed in the Cup, despite me fading them. They don't normally progress in the Cups, but they did this week and comfortably. And they picked up 4 points from the last 2 in the league as well, which has put them, importantly, within touch and distance of Wolves and Everton in the battle for safety. That'll give them a little bit of something to aim for. Brighton had a little bit of a boost of the weekend. They won 4-0 over Norwich. But in the league, they're dropping like a stone. No win in 8 games. 6 of them are draws. And Ipswich are another team I can't get right at the minute. I faded them in those 2 recent games where they picked up points. But like you, I did feel I wanted Ipswich on my side here. Brighton have shown recently they can drop points against anyone. They drew against Southampton, drew against Leicester. They aren't winning games. And therefore, I can't have Brighton at 9-10 away from home. Not a chance. But a little bit repetitive this. You were bold and took the underdog last time. I went double chance. Same again here. You've taken Ipswich outright. I'm taking Ipswich on the double chance because of that form of Brighton and the draws. I did it last week with Brighton and I hit it again with another draw coming in. So I'm going to take Ipswich double chance, 10-11 for Ipswich or the draw.
Get your big boy pants on, Baz. Getting outright here. The final game
I'll win.
Is Thursday night, 8 o'clock, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Manchester United will take on Southampton. Man United are 7-25, minus 357. The draw is 9-2, plus 450. Southampton are parked out at 8-1, Baz. Tricky on the face of it, Baz. What are you telling me?
Yeah, this one is one I hated. Didn't enjoy this one at all. You've got to forget all the hype around Man United's supposed return to form, and there is a lot of hype. Let's not forget they still haven't won a game in 90 minutes in over 4 weeks. They haven't had a clean sheet in 10 in a row now. 2 draws were good results, good for the mood at the club, no doubt about that. But they weren't wins. They haven't won anything, as you mentioned at the start. So you do have to be a little bit careful with Man United. the flip side of that is that they're playing Southampton here. No win in 10 in the league, just 2 points in those 10 games, and only 5 goals in the last 10 games. Failed to score in 5 of the last 6 games, Southampton. Said earlier about Everton. That's problematic. That's not going to help you. I think Man United should win this. As I say, the mood around the place will be a little bit better. They'll go into it on a high rather than everyone on their backs. But it's 2-7. What are you meant to do with Man United at 2-7? A few weeks ago, I'd have been saying you have to fade Man United against anyone. That anyone would go to Old Trafford and fancy their chances of getting someone. We've seen like Bournemouth and Wolves go there, Newcastle who never win there and get someone. The exception to that is probably Southampton, where you can't have any confidence in them doing anything. Man United won the reverse fixture 3-0. And I want to take any chance on Southampton. I think I'd want to have seen a little bit more in recent weeks. That lack of goals is worrying. So I can't have Man United at 2-7. I can't have Man United in handicaps or anything like that. I mean, they failed to score in the last 3 league games as well. It's a horrible game, this one. One, Man United should win, but I just don't trust them. Certainly not enough to take handicaps or team totals and things like that. So I've gone for unders, under 2.5 goals at 6-4. Southampton aren't scoring. There's every chance they might not score here. Man United haven't been putting many goals away in the league. There's a good chance Southampton don't score, and then can Man United go and get 3? Seems very unlikely. I don't think they've done that. I think they've done it possibly once in their last 12 games or something. I'm just going to take the unders. I think it'll be a tight one. Man United might nick it 1-0, but I'm going to take under 2.5 goals at 6-4.
Yeah, it was tricky, Baz. 2 teams that are really high up the Nord bet list. We said Man United looked a lot better last week against Liverpool. And again, same again today. If you forget, they had the man sent off after about an hour today. So it's a big effort to be able to keep Arsenal out for all that time. And simultaneously looked relatively dangerous at the other end. I checked the price here for both teams to score, and I kind of stopped there because I just knew I was going down cul-de-sacs left, right and centre. So I get that Southampton haven't scored in 5 of the last 6 games, but Manchester United don't have a clean sheet in 7 games, and that offsets a little bit for me. Can't take a side, can't take a handicap, I can't take a total. And big effort today from Man United, by the way. They might be a little bit leggy. They've gone 120 minutes, 60 of them with 10 men. And I don't think Amarin can change it too much. It's not like he's going to roll out that midfield and roll Casemiro and Eriksen back in. I think he's just going to have to crack on. Both teams to score 5-6, minus 120. But by Thursday at 8 o'clock, this will be way down my list of things to have a bet on, Baz. And I think that's 10 games in the Hutch, Barry. Hutches have come up quite a lot tonight. Do you want to lead off with some exotic stuff?
I can do, yes. I'll start off with my lock, which you won't like at all, because I've just took Liverpool at 8-11. I think Liverpool will bounce back this week with a win against Forest at 8-11. My underdog is Spurs to beat Arsenal at 6-1. Fancied a couple of the underdogs this week. Took a few on the double chances, but Spurs will be the one I'll go for. Scorer, I'm going to go Salah, 13-10. I'm surprised you can still get plus money for Salah to score in a game. He's only blanked 3 of his last 12, and he scored 5 in his last 5 games. So I'll take Salah anytime at 13-10. I'll let you throw your first 3 out, and then we'll move on to the Ackers.
My lock is going to be what Michael said was the Arsenal for the week, which is Manchester City to win with a team total of over 1.5, 3-4, minus 133. They're going to beat Brentford, but they're not going to beat them 1-0. Underdog is Ipswich. I had quite a few to choose from. Tottenham were well and truly on the list as well. But I'm going to take Ipswich at 29-10, plus 290. Accumulator. Manchester City will win. I think Newcastle will win. And I've added Aston Villa in to boost it up to just over 4-1. A little money line treble. Man City, Newcastle and Villa is plus 417. And for my stake in Stilton, underdogs, Baz, Ipswich. Well, Villa actually are underdogs. I'm going to take Ipswich. I'm going to add Aston Villa. And I put Forest on there. I know you've locked up Liverpool. But I'm going to put Forest in there. That pays 42-1. for a money line treble of Ipswich, Villa and Forest. And for my goal scorer, I was drawn to the Fulham game, Baz, early on. West Ham taking on Fulham. And I wanted to look at Beckett Godot, Baz. 11-2 he was. I'm surprised you didn't expect that, did you? 11-2 he was, Baz. This week he's drifted. He was, 17-4 the other night. But 11-2, Beckett Godot. But I couldn't pull the trigger. I've got to Liam Delap. I mentioned him earlier on. Ipswich are going to get right amongst it. 13-2, nice price, plus 750, plus 650 actually. And he's 13-5, plus 260 anytime. So let's get Liam Delap amongst it for Ipswich this week, Bat.
Yeah, my Ackers, I've got another 2.5 Acker for my corned beef pie. West Ham v Fulham, goals. Newcastle v Wolves, goals. And Leicester v Palace, goals. Over 2.5 comes in I haven't wrote the price down, but it's around about 7-2. And I've also gone underdogs, but I've gone a bit bolder than you and took 2 bigger underdogs, just the 2 of them for a similar price to yours. I've taken Spurs to beat Arsenal again, and Bournemouth to beat Chelsea. A bit of a surprise. 35-1 double for the 2 London big dogs to get beat, big sides to get beat. And I'll finish off, Malcolm, with the ladder. And I will say I nearly binned it off this week. I really struggled to find something that jumped off the page, but I've landed on Villa corners for a ladder. They've hit 6 minimum in the last 4 straight games, including a 9 against West Ham at the weekend and a 12 against Brighton a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to go for Villa corners, starting at over 5.5 Villa corners at 5-6. Over 6.5 is 8-5. Over 7.5, 11-4. Carry on upwards to over 10.5, 12-1. Finishing off at 11.5. Over 11.5 Villa corners. Done it a couple of weeks ago against Brighton, 18-1. So yeah, started over 5.5 with a ladder, and we'll go up to 11.5 Villa corners.
Nice, Baz. Now, you can't bin the ladders off, man. It's what the people come for. We've got a little group bet in the chat here of goal scorers. Isak, Bruno Fernandes and Solanke all to score anytime. 23-1 is the bet in there. Baz, solid effort, 1 hour and 3 minutes. Anything you want to tell the people before we let them go?
I mean, you said we can't bin the ladders off. I wasn't planning on binning it off full time. I just didn't like it this week. But there has been another request, Malcolm. Someone come in the chat on YouTube or Spotify, I can't remember. He requested some kind of feature where we pick a short-priced winner and sort of roll it up and accumulate it over a period of time. It's a novel idea, I'll be honest. We could maybe call it like the slow roller or something.
Do you have to put it on Virgin Bet or Live Score Bet, where there's only 3 markets on every fucking game? I wasn't sure
whether it was a...
Well, why don't you do it, Baz, on the grounds I had 2 goes and lasted a grand total of 3 weeks.
Yeah, I could do. I wasn't sure if I assumed the comment came from a new listener who wasn't aware that you tried and failed with this feature in the past. But there is demand. There is demand to bring it back. It wasn't Patrick. It was a new name. I can't remember who it was now.
No, he's hacked someone.
But there's demand to bring back the slow roller. So I might get it rolling next week.
Oh well, good. Yeah, Barry's slow roller. Enjoyed it. Yeah, we need a new feature because listener picks was shit. Entirely, by the way, the fault of the listener. The idea is outstanding. The listeners couldn't pick their nose. So, the best laid plans and all that, Baz. So we'll get another feature going. Get your thinking cap on. We'll come back next weekend with some sort of maverick new feature for everyone to get involved.
Michael Roberts has put the live odds on battleships. He's got me in at 4-5 favourite, -125. Malcolm in at +110. I'll have a bit of that.
Yeah, tonight seemed like a big swing in your favour, I'll be honest with you, Baz. You did well there. But, you see, the kids get annoyed with me if I hit one of your things, but then just leave it.
I don't like that. I'm a little uncomfortable with that.
It messes with their heads completely. They go berserk. And then just go around, and then so I can, pardon the pun, finish you off later. So, yeah, I thought that might be my best option on the grounds that you psychologically have the edge. But it's modern warfare, Barry, innit? War games. Right. I think we can go now, Baz. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, off we go.
Thanks, everyone. That was loads of fun, as always. Enjoy all the football this week. Good luck with all your picks. I reckon we'll maybe Thursday night, the minute the final whistle goes at Old Trafford, we'll get ready because we're back on Saturday lunchtime, Newcastle Bournemouth. Holy shit, busy. So yeah, let's do that. But keep your eyes peeled for the scheduled stream, etc. Like, rate, review, go and write something down on podcasts, on Spotify or YouTube, etc. Good luck. We will see you all down the road. Cheers.